The machine we're going to be looking at today is the FLSUN T1 Pro. This machine was given to me free of charge. I was not paid to say or do anything. These are all my honest opinions. The T1 Pro has some very impressive specs. It's incredibly fast, has a relatively low sound level, comes with auto leveling. Of course, it's a Delta printer and not a regular 3D printer. It can print a ton of different materials from PLA, PETG, TPU, PVA, ABS, ASA, PA, or even polycarbonate. It has a fully enclosed chamber. The hot end can go up to 300 degrees Celsius. The hot bed itself can go up to 110 degrees Celsius. And also for the tallest print, you can go to 285 millimeters. And if you want to go even taller, the center point can go a little bit higher, but the outer edges cannot go as high, but that is up to 330 millimeters. The machine itself arrived a couple of weeks ago. It still needed a little bit of assembly, but nothing that was too hard. Some of the sides needed to be placed, a couple of screws needed to be screwed in, the top needed to be put on, and all of the side clear plastics and the door needed to be assembled, and then some wires needed to be plugged in. This took about half an hour, nothing too complicated, and something most of us should perfectly be capable of doing. I of course wanted to put this printer through a couple of tests to see how capable it actually was. Before doing those tests though, you do need to level the printer. This is done automatically with just a couple touches of some buttons, and it's ready to go. Now first of all, there are some test prints on the SD card included with the printer, so those were run first. I was immediately impressed by the incredible speed, but also let down a bit by the violence of the machine. Now of course the machine is really fast, so that comes with incredibly fast movements, sometimes a little aggressive movements, and therefore also a bit of a violent shaking of the printer itself, which I wasn't really ready for. Now that could of course be down to me not being prepared well enough before the printer arrived, but then again it caught me a little bit off guard. That being said, all of the first test prints came out really nice, all perfectly well, and no problems were found. After completing the initial run-in of the printer, I moved on to the actual project I was looking to do. So with the webshop moving from warehouse to warehouse and now finally ending up in the newly built shed in my backyard, it was time to organize it a little bit. I was used to having a ton of space and putting stuff everywhere it kind of needed to be, but with the space now pretty much gone as it was too big and too expensive, and the downsizing to the shed meant a lot of cost savings but also a lot less space, some things needed to be organized a bit closer together, a bit more compact, and also a bit better. And for that, I figured why not just print a lot of things on some 3D printers. I could put the printers through its paces and also help the warehouse and webshop with some better organizing. So for that to really work out, I needed to design some stuff, and when I say I mean my wife, because I'm incapable and she is a lot more capable, so all the credits for the designing go straight to her. She did all the work for this project, and it worked out really well. So she went off to design a couple of sort of racking and drawer systems for Zero Paint, Splash, Number 5, and all other sorts of paints and smaller puddles alike in various different sizes to fit all of them in specific spots so we can easily find them in the warehouse, and those were mostly printed off on the FLSUN. So for this project in total, I used about 7 or 8 full spools of filament, tons of different colors, tons of different mixtures of brands and materials going on top of each other. No real major issues found there. As long as you use the same material, it should bond together pretty well with the next layer, and everything was really nice and consistent, smooth print, sharp edges, and very smooth transitions between all the layers, creating a super nice, sturdy, and smooth part. Printing all of these bits and pieces really helped out the warehouse, so that was a really good point for one of these printers, and also the use case, of course. Now this did put the printer through its paces really well, and I kind of found a couple of pros and cons on the printer itself that I would like to go through. It's not all rainbows and butterflies, but there were a lot of positive points and also a couple of negative points on the printer itself. Now the negatives are not really all that bad. They might sound a bit bad, but I'm just looking at this printer from a review perspective and also a bit of a use case, which I ran into some trouble that you can too. Now, not really a big deal, but I do want to mention them all. Of course, let's start off with the pros and then later on move on to the cons. I've already touched on this at the beginning of the video, and that is, of course, the speed. This machine is incredibly fast. It can move up to, and I say up to, 1,000 millimeters a second. Now that is incredible for a 3D printer like this. Really fast and also really smooth. Now I say up to, and that is done at the highest possible speed, but the machine itself will control it a little bit up and down. So in the fastest setting it can go up to, but it will not always run at that speed. And it's not only fast, it is also capable of creating an incredibly nicely finished and high quality piece, keeping in mind that this is an FDM3D printer and not a resin printer, so the layer lines are not as thin and finely detailed. But for printers of this kind of stature, it is a really nice and smooth finish. It can create some highly detailed pieces, but also some incredibly smooth, taller and flatter pieces. Now before any of the printing itself can be done, you do need to level the printer, or at least the print head to the print bed, and that is incredibly easy, just a couple pushes of some various buttons all around, and it does this automatically, and it does it really well too. Since the machine itself is pretty much fully enclosed, you do need some lighting on the inside to see what is on the inside. The housing on the sides is tinted, so it doesn't really let all the light in from the outside, so having a nice LED strip on the inside does give it a lot more visibility and also just an overall nicer look. One of the downsides of printing is that it does sometimes feel like it takes ages for a print to finish, even though it's still pretty quick and you couldn't really do it much faster by hand, depending on the part, that is, of course, and the tools you have at hand. But when you start a print, it can take minutes, hours, or even days before the part is finished, depending on the size and the part you are printing. Now therefore, it is really nice that this one comes included with a camera. It simply plugs in with a USB-C cable, and you can download the app on your phone, connect it, and when you're sitting on your couch just chilling, you can easily check up on the printer if it's still doing well and to see if it hasn't failed or needs any other attention. And with this camera installed, you also have the option to start a time lapse with every print you do, so you have some nice footage to put into a video. The printer can also be connected to Wi-Fi, and if you download everything and connect it all together, you can just directly slice the files and press print on your computer without having to insert a USB stick, SD card, etc. Transfer that to the printer. You can also monitor it from the slicer itself, or even the app you can download on your phone to check up on the camera and also the printing status. Before you can start any print, you of course need to slice it first, and for that you need a slicer. Now I do feel that FLSUN did not create their own slicer. It looks an incredible amount like the one from Bamboo Labs, which is an incredibly nice slicer to use, so I'm really happy they decided to use that one and just transfer it to their own style and use the bits that they needed for their printers, which turned out really well and works incredibly smooth. Something we're seeing more and more of on 3D printers is that they come fully enclosed. Now this one, as I've mentioned before, is no different. It is fully enclosed and even has the spool holder and filament on the inside. From the outside you cannot really see in all that well, even though the parts are clear, the window parts at least. They are slightly tinted, so it is a bit dark to look from the outside in, even though you have the light turned on, but it is still nice to have it fully enclosed. That helps keep all the temperature inside and have it at a stable temperature. The touchscreen on the printer to control it works pretty well. It's nice and fast and also very responsive to the touch, and has a nice and high resolution, or at least a high enough resolution to look nice and smooth for the printer's purposes. Once a print is finished, you can simply just lift off the print bed itself, bend it, and the parts will just pop off, or they will already popped off if you've let it cool down enough. So from the positive over to the negative. Some of those positive points that I've discussed earlier also have a negative side to them, and not everything seems to be as good as it's promised. So FLSUN claims that the printer is pretty quiet at 55 decibels, even though I've experienced it myself to be kind of loud. If you have the enclosure open, which you probably shouldn't, then there is a ton of noise, and if you have it at one of the faster settings for printing, it shakes pretty violently. That also creates a lot of noise, and the shaking and vibrating doesn't really help to that. Now the price point on this printer is pretty fair for what you get, an incredibly fast printer with quality prints. Now that also does come with a bit of a downside, and that is simply down to the fact that due to getting that price this low, there have to be some cost-cutting measures as well, and that means that the material used on the printer, which is mostly made out of injection molded plastic, feels a bit cheap. The clear parts are really not of the highest quality and tend to be a little bit brittle. I broke one of the clear sides on the assembly side of things when I got it right out of the box, and then the plastic itself just doesn't feel like it's really expensive and or a high quality material. Now during printing you inevitably will end up with a spool of filament that has run out, and then you need to refill that. The process for this isn't really as straightforward as it should be. The printer does say simply that the filament has run out. You either need to check it and or refill it, then go to another screen and press some buttons that aren't really labeled all that well in order to refill it, then go back to another screen and back to another screen to then resume printing after refilling it. Now this all seems a little bit too complicated and could be done a bit easier with just a couple touches of a button instead of this entire moving from screen to screen to screen. Speaking of filament that has run out, the machine does also give the occasional error that the filament has run out. While it actually hasn't, the roll is still fully intact, has plenty of filament on it, yet the printer does state that the filament has run out and you need to refill it. Even though that there is still plenty of filament on the roll, it is still inserted into the printhead itself, and it can just move freely and move on to printing. Simply just pressing resume is usually the fix for this, even though it's a little bit weird and it shouldn't happen. The filament spool is held inside at the top of the printer simply by a bent pin that is held in by a sort of locking mechanism that doesn't always seem to work perfectly. If you have the printer at the highest speed, it can shake the printer violently enough that this printer sometimes comes undone, and that also resorts to the filament saying that it is run out, even though the spool is just a little bit stuck and has a tiny amount of resistance. Now, due to the filament being inside of the machine and it all fully enclosed, that also means the machine is pretty tall at about 85 centimeters, a little less than a meter, which is pretty high for a machine, so you do need to take that into account and have a lot of headspace for the machine to go. Now, of course, I know that with other printers you either have the roll outside of the machine, on the side, on the top, or anywhere else, so this is a general thing for most 3D printers, but with this also being a Delta style printer, which means it is already pretty tall, and then having the full filament spool inside makes it even taller. Even though the printer comes with a camera, which is a huge plus point, this is also a bit of a letdown. The camera that is included is of a fairly low quality that doesn't really show that much depth or detail on the prints, but just simply shows you how far it is and if everything in general is still going well. That being said, if you have a taller print, then halfway through that print, the camera's field of view will not be capable of capturing the top half of that print, and therefore you're only looking at the lower half of the print being printed and can't really see what is going on at the top. In order to check on that camera from your couch or anywhere else, the printer needs to be connected to the Wi-Fi and also connected to either your phone or the slicer on your computer. But the login sometimes fails. Even though you have reset the password, it still won't let you in and or reconnect, and I simply wasn't even capable of connecting the slicer on the computer to the printer at all, so that never worked. Luckily, you can still use the USB stick, transfer the files from the slicer onto the USB, and use the USB on the printer itself to start printing, which works fine, but it would be nice to just simply connect the slicer to the printer and have that done without the USB stick. Now, using the USB doesn't come without its own faults. Sometimes after loading a file onto the USB, putting it into the printer, printing it, and then going for a second print of the same part, it for some reason has disappeared off of the USB stick and cannot be used, or simply gives a fault that the file is not good for this type of printer and it won't work. So you need to slice it again and then try it again, which usually fixes the issue. One downside of this printer is also the print size. The platform is circular, which does limit it a little bit to size. It can go 26 millimeter or 260 millimeters wide, and at the highest point up to 330, which isn't really all that much of a print size. But then again, with the speed and precision it can go to, that is something you can look into and accept, of course, if you don't really need to print huge parts. Then also the bed adhesion, it is not perfect, so for most of the parts I did need to use some glue to help it stick down a bit, but that is nothing special to this printer or any other printer. That is just something you need to take into consideration. With that all being said, let's move on to the final verdict. This is a great machine at a fair price. It is not the highest quality in terms of materials used in the printer, but that does not let it down in terms of print quality. The printed parts come out really nice and smooth. The taller ones come out as smooth as not as tall ones, and also the details are really nicely captured. It is super fast and super smooth, so that is a nice combination. The price point is acceptable for the quality and speed that it delivers. That being said, there are some bugs that still need to be worked out. Some of them seem to be on the software side, so with a simple update that can easily be done over the air and solved pretty quickly. So I assume that will be done in the near future if they just keep working on these printers and improving them more and more. Now, if you are interested to know more about this specific printer, I will be leaving links in the description down below to the FLSUN website, specifically the T1 Pro, but you can of course also check out some of the other products they offer and see if there is something for you.